What's good, everybody? I just graduated from psychology. I am officially a psychologist, right, as of today. And I will be going out into the job market and looking to be, a therapist. And speaking of jobs, today we're going over part 2 of UFC fighters if they couldn't fight. What jobs would UFC fighters have, all right? Let's get right into it with the first pick. And I think this first one is confirmed by the source himself, Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, my brother, if you could not fight, you would be doing whatever jobs they wanted you to do in prison, my brother. Whether that would be being a pocket pussy for some big-ass guy in prison, whether that's mining rock, whether that's making the food for the other inmates. He said himself, hey man, if I wasn't fighting, I would have been in jail a long time ago. And I agree. And if you've seen pictures of young Sean Strickland, if you look like that, you do not want to be in jail, my brother. All right? Speaking from experience, I also was kind of twinkie myself, in my younger days. So speaking from experience, you do not want to be in prison if you are looking anything like Sean Strickland in his younger days. You would most definitely be a boy toy. All right? No diddy. On to the next fighter, Volkanovski. Now, this is one that's very obvious. I feel like I could have told you this. My mom could have told you this. My brother could have told you this, right? My brother I don't have. Volkanovski would be a chef. Volkanovski would be a cook, whether it be as a cook, like a line chef in a kitchen, right? A little kitchen. Maybe he's in a McDonald's, right? Maybe he's a Michelin star chef. I thought, maybe a couple years ago, I make this video, I would have Volkanovski as a rugby player. He was a rugby player in his youth, but for one reason or another, got into fighting, and that's where it went. And now we can see in his older age, in his balder and more shinier age, he has definitely taken a liking to the art, to the culinary arts, right? He definitely is someone that likes to cook, likes to chef it up. All the meals look delicious. You can tell that he's a guy, though, like the way he cooks. This guy's motherfucker cooking meats, burgers, sandwiches. Never seen this man make a house salad, right? Never seen this man make a delicate carbonara, right? But anyway, Volkanovski, a cook, perfect pairing. I think this is another one confirmed by the source, right? What does this man do on his free time? Hang out with his girls, right? Hang out with his cute family. He hangs out with his wife, right? Maybe some friends. And he cooks. That's all this motherfucker does, right? Anyway, on to the next fighter. Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Now, to understand this entry, you guys have to know a little bit about this man. This man genuinely has like 13 kids. All right? He had 13 kids, most of them before he ever got a UFC contract, before he was ever fighting for money for real, for real. This guy was out there. I don't know what he was doing. MMA fighting, boxing, whatever he was doing, somehow making money to feed 13 children. Yeah, man. If he wasn't fighting, he would be a deadbeat dad. None of those 13 kids would ever know their father. There's no way you can sustain that family. I'm actually not convinced that he's not living paycheck to paycheck. This guy recently, like last year or this year, he's been one of the most active fighters. He fought Shamil. I think he fought Curtis Blades, right? He fought Volkov recently. He's been fighting so much. And I don't think it's like for love of the game. I do not think it's like a passion for fighting. I think this man genuinely has too many mouths to feed. And shout out to him, man. All right? 13 kids is crazy. Like, pull-out game is completely non-existent. But if I had 13 kids, I do not think I would even attempt to be a present father in their lives. But this man's got it down, bro. He's got it locked down. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if these are 13 kids by the same wife. If that's so, man, I'm praying for her. I'm praying for her uterus. But yeah, man, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, if I had 13 children, I would be a deadbeat father. So shout out to you, my brother. If you could not fight, see you on the streets, all right? Next fighter, Tom Aspinall in the same division. Tom Aspinall, if you've seen any interviews of him before his fighting career, he was talking about, yeah, man, I was coming back from training. I couldn't fill my car with gas up. I had to go to the house, and I had hungry mouths to feed. And like the way this guy talks about his life before, you're like, fucking hell. Thank God this guy became a good UFC fighter. Because the way he was talking about it, I'm like, you got nothing, bro. You genuinely got nothing left. I think if he wasn't a UFC fighter, if sadly his dreams hadn't worked out, he couldn't become an MMA fighter, boxer, whatever. I think he'd be one of those big ass motherfuckers that you just see in an office. You just see driving Uber. You see doing whatever job except anything athletic. You know when you see those tall ass, those like guys that are like genuinely 6'5", like unironically 6'5", uncoordinated, unathletic, don't do any sports. You're genuinely big for no. This is the rage of a man who's 5'10", right? You're genuinely big for no reason. Why? You can just imagine Tom Aspinall posted up like Bob from The Incredibles in this picture, big as fuck, on his office, opening up Excels, right? accounting firm for whatever fuck ass company. Yeah, man, Tom Aspinall, one of those guys. He had his dream when he was in his younger days, didn't work out, and because of his children, because again his pullout game is weak as hell, he decided to just like get whatever job was able to pay the bills. Again, if you do not have the means to care for your children, do not have children, bro. Tom Aspinall, I fuck with you. I fuck with your story. I hope you become one of the best heavyweights of all time. I hope you beat Cyril Gane. But when you were talking about, yeah, I had hungry mouths to feed, whatever, I had to make it work. I'm like, why did those hungry mouths, why are they there in the first place? And like one is fine, right? You live in a country that allows abortions. Maybe you don't want an abortion, whatever. One is fine. An accident can happen. This guy had like 2 or 3 kids to feed. Do you not learn your lesson the first time, bro? I know you can fit I know you can fit any condom on the market, because when what's his name, Eddie Hall, told you like, oh, your nickname should be the third leg because you have a big penis. He said, no, that's not me. So you can definitely fit condoms. Why are you walking around here with 3 children and no money? All right. Thank God he got his money up. I'm sorry, I did not mean this to be a rant against Tom Aspinall and his pullout habits. But yeah, man, on to the next fighter. Justin Gaethje. Now, Justin Gaethje is a very American man. Got a win at the White House, a very AI scrap, if I do say so myself, as an Ilia Topuria fan. But Justin Gaethje, American, right? Embodies the spirit of an American. He's this guy. He owns guns. He's low-key a chud, right? What is a more American job than a truck driver? This guy has no wife. He's got no kids, no love interest. He's got a dog that could low-key ride with him in his truck. He's quiet. He says he walks around the house sometimes and he has to like just scream to see if his voice still works. He plays golf. He's a chud. Again, like this is the perfect job for Justin Gaethje. Truck driver, 12 hours uninterrupted. You don't gotta talk to nobody. You got your fuck ass little Joe Rogan podcast on the radio. And you're good, bro. Life is good. That's all he needs. My first instinct was saying like he'd be on the short bus. But the short bus is for children. So, thinking about adult habits. If Justin Gaethje could get his driver's license, which he has, right? He would definitely be a truck driver. I think that would be a very fitting job for him. Not only for what we imagine him as, but also what would make him fulfilled in life. I think Justin Gaethje, and all credit to him, could be happy as a truck driver, right? Now he's just a UFC fighter, but he could be happy as a truck driver. On to the next fighter. Joshua Vanner. My boy, Joshua Van. Flyweight champion, gonna have a rematch with Pantoja. Just school Tatsuro Taira, my goat. Great guy. He gives me, I don't know why I feel like Joshua Van's fighting was like a side hobby that he just turned out to be good at. Like, do you guys not get the impression that Joshua Van just happened to be good at fighting and then he went down that road? This motherfucker didn't know who DJ was. Said all he saw was some shit on Instagram, right? Got his shit off the UFC game. His first pay-per-view was like, what was his first pay? Like Conor versus, I don't even know. Like he was talking about his first pay-per-view. I'm like, damn, that's hella recent. You haven't seen nothing. He's seen no tape from the past. He barely studies. Like, it's insane. You can tell this guy's just good at it. And now he's just doing it for his job. Now it's just what he does for his life, right? And now he's a champion. Joshua Van, he listens to Chief Keef. He's a young head. He's a youngin, just like all of us. He's a YN, right? I think he'd be a rapper. I think he'd be an aspiring SoundCloud rapper. In my last video, in the first part of this video, I said that Ilia Topuria, if he was in Spain, if he grew up in Spain and he wasn't a fighter, he would be like a freestyle rapper. We have so many of those in Spain, right? Guys that just do these things called cockfights, which sounds crazy, that like chicken fights, right? Where they get in front of each other and just start rap battling each other. It's basically the stuff that we used to do in the US like 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Like that's the shit you would see on 8 Mile from Eminem, right? They're doing it now and it's still super popular. But none of these guys, no one actually listens to these people. Or I refuse to believe that people stream these freestyle rappers. It's just too lyrical, right? But Joshua Van, I think he would be one of the mumble rapping SoundCloud generations. And just like he is at fighting, I think he would just be good at it. He'd make some bangers, Maybe inspired by his Myanmar heritage. He'd be using some of those instruments from over there. They got some fire little string instruments that look like guitars, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, man, Joshua Van, up there with Playboy Cardi, up there with Lil Uzi. SoundCloud rapper and entertainer. And lastly, Petr, no mercy on your engine, Yan. Now, I think a lot of Russian fighters could go here, right? But Petr Yan, when you look at him, his size, his stature, just imagine, right? Imagine your average height between 5'9", 5'11", right? I think that's average for most of the Western world. You walk into a mechanic shop, and you talk to the receptionist, nice lady, speaks your language, as you would expect, as you are living in a country where everyone speaks your language. And then something happens, you have to talk to the mechanic, and this short fucking Russian guy that doesn't speak your language comes up to you, looking up at you. This is sounding like a Wattpad fucking fanfiction, but looks up at you, and he's just trying to like communicate to you through symbols and like Russian, and not a lick of attempted English is spoken, right? And he tries to tell you basically that your engine blew the fuck up. Secretary comes over, translates, says, "Hey man, you fucked the trans." You're like, "How'd you know I fucked the trans, bro? She said she wouldn't tell nobody." She said, no, the transmission. You're like, "Oh, okay, the transmission. Yeah. So he tries to communicate with you. He's like, "Yeah, man, you fucked the trans." And yeah, he just seems like a guy that would, you'd be watching him work. Very efficient, very methodical, like a computer, right? Communicates with all his coworkers. Everything's getting done. Well, like, he gets paid low-key below minimum salary, but he's also low-key an illegal immigrant, so he doesn't say nothing about it. He sends a bunch of money back home to his family, whatever. And he's just there, man, doing his job, being a mechanic, good at his job, always covered in oil, smells a little funky, but just a nice, quiet, gentle, polite man that does shit on your engine and accuses you of fucking the trans, all right? Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think about these fighter jobs? Did I get any of them wrong? Or did I get any of them right? How would, Volkanovski's a cook, pretty undeniable to me. Strickland in prison, Honestly, Petr Yan as a mechanic, I'm low-key cooking with that one, all right? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want a part 3. And yeah, man, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go to a graduation dinner. I'm recording this between my graduation and the graduation dinner, all right? I'm a fucking chud. Ciao.